Note: to those who are gonna say that I'm copying a YouTuber, well, this video is not an original idea as several producers have done it already. I'm doing this to showcase my 5-year music transformation as it has been 5 years since I released a song called Reactions. I'll be including a cringe counter on the side to show you how many times I have cringed for fun, and I'll also be narrating over the songs after a while I have played the song. Ever since I have found my passion back in 2018, I did not give up composing music, even though it sounds pretty mid or pretty bad, but I have refined my skills over time. Some people might give up after a while, but I just only carried on with my music composition. Anyways, let's get started with my very first song, Reactions. Oh god, where do I start with this? It's a bunch of chaos with this weird tempo switch from 130 beats per minute to 180 beats per minute. Then it all comes crashing down back to around its original tempo, then progress gradually to 180 beats per minute, and then staying there till the end. The synth doesn't help either. I just followed a tutorial called How to Make a Catchy Song FL Studio, and then this is the result. I actually thought it sounded good back then, but it kinda sounded trash to me right now. But I'll give this a break for now. It doesn't make me cringe like the other songs that I will be showing soon, but this will forever and always be my very first song that I ever made.
I did.
Okay, at least the production is somewhat better here, but my god, the vocal sample could get annoying at sometimes. Some parts sound cool though, but the build-up is cringe due to the sample being sometimes offbeat. At least it's kind of tolerable if you manage to get past the vocal sample, but it's probably the first time I have cringed, so I'm gonna add it to the counter. I know I got the sample from one of my old videos, but I do not like how it's used. Moving on. Hello and welcome to the intermission for this video. I would like to show you the songs from July 2018 to September 2018, but they're lost in time thanks to large 3-hour limitation SoundCloud. However, what about deleted songs from that time period? Here's Reactions V2, a remake of my very first song, Reactions. Finally, it uses a normal drum beat, but the drop is disappointing sadly. At least it's better than the original though. Speaking of remakes, here's Boom, I'm Dead Too. It was previously uploaded onto my SoundCloud, but I deleted it because, you know. However, I can't find the album art for it. It's pretty decent but pretty forgettable. I also can't find the project file, so it's sadly lost in time. Also, if you have been in my SoundCloud back in 2018, I released this album called Random Compilations. It's an album consisting of me doing random things related to music. And yep, I deleted it for the aforementioned reason. I kinda wanted to listen to those, but oh well. I guess it's lost in time as well now. Anyways, back to your regularly scheduled program. Ah yes, this is what happens when a beginner producer discovers Supersoul for the first time. It's okay, I actually like the melody in here, I like how it progresses and such. I find this to be kind of catchy actually. I kind of find the drops a wee weak in there sadly, probably because 2018 me doesn't know about volumes back then. And I also do not know which dynamic to aim for in this EDM composition scene. Overall, pretty catchy song. Speaking of catchy, yep, beginner super song moment again. I actually find this to be my favorite song I made back in 2018. The melody in this song is one of my favorites so far, and the drops actually go slightly harder than the previous one. I played around with 3XOXC to create those 8-bit sounds, and it went really well in this song. I find it more catchier than the other song as well, so overall, I actually love this. Okay, the melody is at least decent here, but my god, the mixing is bad at this. Anyways, this is the longest song I made back in 2018, standing at 8 minutes and 17 seconds long. The build up to the drop isn't worth it at all, but what makes me cringe is that the mixing is abysmal. So I'm going to add a point into the cringe counter. Moving on. Ah yes, the first song where I add vocals in it. I mean technically Boom I'm Dead takes the crown, but this is where I start to add my vocoded vocals in songs. However, I can't enjoy it if the production overshadowed the vocals and that the lyrics are really corny. At least it kinda hits hard, but since the vocals are cheesy and makes my skin crawl, that's another cringe point for me. Next! Yep, welcome to the second intermission of this channel. I thought I'd save a huge chunk of time by talking about the EPs I have released during 2018, since they consist of 4 songs that I did not want to go through one by one, but here we go. The first EP that I want to talk about is the Something Under EP. This EP was made entirely back in 2018 with 4 songs also being made during the same timeline. Anyways, let's head through the tracks. Something Under It, which is the title track for the EP, sounds boring with nothing much going on sadly, with only drum and bass at 100 beats per minute. However, It's Just How I Like You has much going on, but the song wasn't mixed properly, so it sounds really weak. I did add my vocoded vocals in there, but sadly the production can't complement it. Cutting Edge, on the other hand, is a polar opposite of it, as the drums have a lot more impact, but the volume isn't consistent with the drops and the off drops, as drops hit you like a truck. And finally, Something Over It. It has the same deal with Cutting Edge, and although the drops sounds more fun, the mixing isn't really good. Overall, the EP is a hit or miss for me. Next, I want to talk about the second EP, Functions. It was previously meant to be an album, but I had to remove some songs due to the 3-hour limitation. So I'll show you the first song on the album, in which I had to delete, called Maximize. Here's what it sounds like. I made this back in December 12, 2018, and sadly the kicks made the production of this song really muffled, which made this song kinda enjoyable. Wind, on the other hand, it's not really that bad. The analog bass in the track gets a spotlight, but nowadays I kind of find it boring. Next up is Time, which is a little bit more fun due to the lead in the track, but like my old tracks, the mixing ain't that great. Chip is a track where I tried to make commercial house. Unfortunately, the drop sounded weak, and the song is pretty forgettable. And finally, the last track is Above. I actually like the bass work here, but the lead and the drop sounds weakened, sadly. And that's it for Functions. Even though the EP was made in 2018, it does contain songs from 2019. So it's not really entirely from 2018. It's a fine EP overall, although I kinda zoned out sometimes. Lastly, before I wrap 2018 up, I want to talk about the deleted songs from that time period. If you looked in my Don't Look Too Unreleased channel, you can find deleted and unreleased songs, mostly from 2018. One of them is You Got Mail, a typical house track with nothing special aside from the computer-like sounds and samples, and Save Progress, which is another house track standing at a whopping 9 minutes and 7 seconds long. I'm not sure what to get out from that track, since it's just your average house track with a mid mixing quality. There's also something called reflection slash deflections, which consists of two tracks. I forgot how they sounded since they're long gone already, but what I do remember is that reflection has vocals and that's about it. Now, let's head into 2019, also known as the remix year for me. Ah yes, my first ever collab before I got into remixing things, which will be shown soon. I'm only going to show the most noteworthy ones since it would take too long covering every single remix in this video. Anyways, the track is a standard commercial house and the one I'm playing right now is the original one, the one before I sent the project file to tech. It's a decent song, although kind of forgettable. The only noteworthy thing about it for me is that it's a collab that I have done with another person. The changes that were made in the final product is that the tempo was changed to a slightly slower pitch, some elements were removed in a few parts of the song like the plucks in the first build-up, and much more. I know, I'm putting a song I started back in March of 2019 that was released in April of 2019 because I want to talk about the original for a while. Alright, most of you are going to know me for this remix since this is literally the second most viewed video on my channel. This remix, well, I can't say it's good right now because it sounds really dated to me. The bass in this song is really muffled and it could sound awkward at some times. It also sounds pretty boring as well. At least when it first debuted in Darth, the tempo was a lot faster, but even that can't save the song. Next song. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that this year is my house and synthwave year as well, so expect a lot of those tracks in this year. Anyways, about Clouds. As you expect is another standard commercial house, except during the drop it sounds like a senior hitting the cane on the wall or something. Yeah, that's all I got. Next song. This is the story of this song. I submitted this in my application in Discover back in 2019, and I got into the team. This song started off as a demo of my songs to them, and surprise surprise, I got accepted. Anyways, this song is actually pretty catchy. Although the drops kinda feel weak, it's also pretty fun as well. It should get better from here, right? Okay, this song is actually a joke song. The production is not that bad, but I do not like how the samples were manipulated by pitching up, since it sounds pretty cringy like that. I'm going to add that to the cringe counter. Also, the name is kinda funny though, as it sounds like I encourage people to, well, do that. Next song.
And thank you for participating in today's event. Have a good one.
This song is, well, certainly an interesting one. I actually got the samples from a rehearsal stream where Tech practices his stage speeches. Everything in this song was going well till the drops, which sounded pretty weak. I do like how Tech says the blah 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 in parts of the song as well. So this is one of the few songs that I feel like the vocals are executed well. Next song. This has a similar production to Do Nut, but replace it with a weaker production, computer cleansed vocals, and such. It's kind of the same level as Do Nut, but weaker. At least the pitch up vocals and the drops were kinda catchy, so it doesn't sound that bad to me as well. Back when I first released it, I expected it to go viral, but it didn't. Nowadays, I produce music for fun and not for attention. Anyways, this next song is something very new to me back in 2019. Here it is. So, here's a story of why I went into synthwave. Back then, I was listening to a synthwave song by J+1 and I was like, whoa, what is this genre all about? Then I started to check out other synthwave songs and even created my own, and Grid View was the result. Anyways, the song is pretty decent, although nothing special, with the melody being the highlight. I actually wanted to say thanks to J+1 for inspiration, because without him, I wouldn't have dived into the realm of synthwave music. Heck, it got his attention on my SoundCloud back in 2019. Anyways, next song, which is also a synthwave song. Okay, the highlight here is the tempo switch up from 84 beats per minute to 120 beats per minute. The analog bass in here takes the cake in this song, production this time. It's also a fairly decent song, however I have since left my older synthwave songs in the dust since I created way too many of them back then. But re-listening to this song feels pretty nostalgic to me for some reason. Next song. Going out of YouTube for now and heading into SoundCloud are the songs that I did not manage to release on YouTube. Here's a song that fits in this classification. It's a typical progressive house track. Yeah, I know that I called it a progressive house track instead of a commercial house track because it progresses instead of building up to a drop, with nothing much to say other than the chords sounding weird due to the distortion. Same goes with this, since there's nothing much to say about this as well, since it's just your average synthwave track. The noteworthy part about this is the tempo switch up. Yeah, that's about it. Going back to YouTube for a while, and finally, something noteworthy to say about this song. However, the only noteworthy thing about it is that I submitted this song to be used in Aspire 2019. It does contain the same chord plugs from Process Killed and its overall vibe. And yeah, same story as my inspiration for synthwave, but this time it's progressive house as I was inspired by Deadmau5. So yeah. Okay, back to SoundCloud. Just an average synthwave track, but for some funny reason, I named the 2021 track of mine Cube, without realizing that I did create this song named Cube. Other than that, nothing much to say. At this point, maybe I'll only play a clip of the tracks that I deem to be filler instead of talking over it. Yep, you may recognize this if you have watched Let's Talk Septo. Other than that, this is a pretty unique synthwave track with the drums arranged differently, while keeping elements of my previous synthwave tracks. This is one of the songs I released back in 2019 that I sometimes come back to. Overall, great track. Well, nothing much to say other than it's speech rehearsal, but replace it with a synthwave production and let's talk Zepto rehearsal speeches. Yeah, that's all I have to say about this. Okay, here's another song that was played during Let's Talk Zepto. The drops kinda sounded weak as well here, but the second half of the song is where it gets better for me. Haven't really listened to this song for a while, even though that I know that I produced it. What can I say about this? The piano here is beautiful and it's pretty chill as well. The classical choirs here makes the song kinda emotional to me. The song was created because Tech was leaving the spot as creative director of Dove, so I feel like creating it. Well, this kinda aged like milk, sadly. Next song. Yes, my first drum and bass song, except that it's not really a drum and bass song since it lacks some elements from drum and bass, except for the drum arrangement. Anyways, fun little story. This poster actually appeared in Bus Stop Simulator and I was actually surprised to see that in there. About the track, it's overall a fun track to listen to due to its fast-paced and playful nature, for me at least.
My ear.
This is my second attempt in Future Bass. And no, it's not my first attempt. My first attempt was with a song that I didn't want to discuss about due to controversy. Sadly, the drop here sounds really weak, but the 8-bit synths do fit the song title well. Can't seem to enjoy this for some reason.
Let's get a bit technical. Roblox Studio is 64-bit, which allows more memory usage for big games. The client itself is 32-bit, with some poor performance in big games.
This song is between house and bricks, but it's bricks for the most part due to its drums. Nothing else to say, but I like how this aged like fine wine since we now have a 64-bit client. Yeah, that's about it. So, remember how I talked about J+1 during Grid View? Well, I was actively listening to his songs back then, but then Give 'Em the Love came. I decided to remix it for fun, and maybe I can say something like, thanks for the inspiration, or maybe anything that complements it. Okay, back to YouTube. Other than that, nothing special about it, other than the vocals. This is my first Christmas track. Just a synthwave track with bells being the highlight. Yeah, that's all. Nothing noteworthy about it. and this is my final track of 2019. And it's a feel of progressive house track. And that's all for the year 2019. Wow, that's a lot of tracks to cover. Anyways, let's wrap this year up or something. Wow, I'm feeling exhausted editing this. I started to edit this video back in June 4, now it's June 8. I kinda need a break for now. Probably I'll continue really soon for part 2. Anyways, before I wrap up part 1, let's talk about the unreleased stuff. Cube, the 2019 one, not the 2021 one, was meant to be in an album that I planned, but it never made it to light. I can't remember the planned album name, but I still remember the tracks planned for it. Here's Polygon, an average synthwave track. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention the album consists of all synthwave tracks. Next, here's Tracer. Not the character, of course. It sounds pretty calming, although nothing special. Here's the 4th track of the planned album, called Raycasting. What makes the track kinda special is the chords. Other than that, it's fairly average. And finally, this is Night Shift. I kinda do not like the 8-bit sounds that come in every part for some reason. Also, there's a missed 2018 track that I found while I was editing this video, called Well Done Guys. I can't remember what it sounds like because that song is long gone. The length of the song though, it's 7 minutes though, so I'm not too sure about that. There may be other forgotten tracks back in 2018 and 2019 that I did not manage to find, so they're lost in time, unless I somehow manage to find one or more of them. Anyways, that's all for this video. I'm going to be releasing a part 2 soon since this video is getting too long. I only covered my 2018 to 2019 journey, but part 2 will cover 2020 to 2023. This is Donluck2 signing off, and I'll see you next time. Man, I spent so long editing this.